Hello, fellow humans, and today I want to talk about why the Grille is being nerfed. Now, is there a rational answer to this question? Well, there isn't, obviously, because the change does make absolutely no sense, just like a lot of changes in update 10.3. But let's talk about the Grille in detail, and let's just examine why this is happening, because the Grille is already one of the bottom-performing tier 10 tank destroyers by win rate according to Blitz stars. So it can't be performance-related as the vehicle is being nerfed, so there's something weird and fishy going on. Because vehicles like this are difficult to play. Obviously, it doesn't have a lot of armor, and it does lack gun depression, it does lack traverse speed. So essentially what you have here is you have a vehicle that's essentially built for sniping. Or, if you're a very skilled player, you can also pull it off in close range combat. But for that, you have to be extremely skilled because of the horrible traverse speed of the vehicle. And the horrible camo rating as well. And the horrible armor. It doesn't have any armor. Now, you can use a spore liner, which is just another gimmick to make the game more complicated, because, you know, new player friendliness is very much at the bottom of the list of wargaming priorities, as clearly visible. This vehicle is going to get worse at sniping, and it's going to get worse at peeking, because reducing the alpha damage and reducing the shell speed. Reducing the shell speed does mean that now you have to be more knowledgeable about tank movement, because the longer your shell travels, the more you have to think about, where is that tank going to move? Where can I still hit it? Because if your shell flies for, let's say, 2 seconds, that tank can move quite a lot further than if your shell is flying for 0.7 seconds, for example. So that is really a bad change for a tank that is meant for sniping. And then an alpha damage change is also a very bad change for a vehicle like this, because a no armor vehicle lives from two things: gun and player skill. If you have an average to bad player, they don't have any skill, so they have to live off the gun. But if you make the gun have less alpha damage, that now means that player has to peek more often, expose themselves more often, with, again, a vehicle that has no armor, leading them to get shot more, leading them to get killed more, reducing the effectiveness of the vehicle. So nerfing the alpha damage is essentially just nerfing everyone that plays the vehicle. Because you have to peek more, you have to need more skill to make it work. Now, the entire tech tree, I don't have to tell you, the story ammo is horrible. Rheinmetall Bosic already got nerfed 100 times, it's not good. But the Waffenträger is pretty solid-ish still, but it's still not great. And the Grille is now bad. So is there any incentive to grind this tech tree? Have a look at the Borsig. I mean, it's not the worst in terms of statistics. At tier 8, the SU-101 takes that crown, unsurprisingly. But it already has been nerfed multitude of times. So what's the play here? Is it to nerf the entire tech tree absolutely into the ground, to then in a couple of years buff it massively so that now everyone's going to get the Grille? Is that it? Because there is no performance-based decision behind this nerf, and that is true for a lot of the changes in update 10.3, where their changes are not based on any type of rationality, where they're simply just change for the sake of change. Now, for the Grille, the change that should have been done is simply put the alpha damage back to 640 and call it a day. But no, instead it has to be nerfed further. So, in this case, first of all, I would highly recommend Wargaming check their office for lead contamination, because that could be one of the reasons. And other than that, I really ask myself is, what are you balancing these vehicles off? Because obviously Wargaming's internal statistics have to be a lot broader and a lot bigger than the statistics that we as a community have access to. So Wargaming has to know a lot more about what's going on with these tanks than we do. Yet they still make decisions like this one that are so obviously and incredibly wrong that it's almost unbelievable how anyone could come to this conclusion. So that, to me, only really allows two conclusions: incompetence or malice. Either the people that balance this vehicle don't know how the vehicle works, which I would find unsurprising, but shocking nonetheless, or the Grille is being destroyed on purpose because someone inside Wargaming doesn't want it to succeed. That's the only two answers I can really come up with. Because there is no rational answer to this, obviously. There just isn't. I don't know, what is your answer to this problem? Put it in the comments. I would very much like to hear your opinion about what is happening here, but it seems to be somewhat of a bigger problem that sometimes change is just made for the sake of change rather than thought about what that change is going to do. Now, I really hope that this change is going to be reversed or, well, adjusted in a way that the Grille is made playable again, especially also for newer players, because that's the target audience, right? You want the average player to do as well as possible. So essentially, what the Grille is going through here is just a nerf towards the average player of this vehicle. So I really don't know what this is for. I can't understand it, but probably neither does Wargaming, to be honest, at this point. Because it's very clear that this is not a change that makes any sense whatsoever. So I ask you, community, viewers, is this what you want in a game where changes are made with essentially no thought, no reason, just there you go? I don't. I would like to see that change, and I would also like to see explanations in detail of why these changes are made, because Wargaming has the receipts, right? Be like, okay, here is exactly why we changed this vehicle, and give an explanation, that's fine. But if not, it's random, and it's shit.